So the one of the major initiatives that have been taken in the current budget is rationalization of capital gains tax. That is one. The other is in the new tax regime, we have further given some concessions in the slabs and tax structure, which makes it beneficial to the taxpayers across the board. The third is that some standard deductions have also been increased for the salaried taxpayers who are opting for the new tax regime. So essentially, the philosophy is that we should prompt taxpayers and persuade them towards opting for the new tax regime. In this direction, one more provision has been added that in the case of private salaried class, where the NPS scheme is operational, till now 10% of the contribution was being considered as a deduction under 80CCD, but now that has been increased to 14% for those who are opting for the new tax regime. So essentially, for the new tax regime, the taxpayers who are opting is that you get more tax concessions. Then the standard deduction is available. This 4% is also contribution from the employer is also admissible. The second component is the change in the capital tax regime, wherein now it has been simplified in terms of that now there are only two holding periods. One is 1 year, and the other holding period is 2 years for the assets to be eligible for long-term capital gains. For all financial assets, it is 1 year. For all non-financial assets, it's 2 years. The component of the element of indexation that was otherwise admissible till now has been done away with. There are certain thoughts on this on part of the taxpayers, because the taxpayers have been living with this indexation scheme for quite long, and therefore some I would say responses from the taxpayers, but then we can actually demonstrate with examples that this new tax regime, because it has brought down the tax from 20% to 12.5%, it is actually beneficial when we consider from a tax outgo point of view. For example, if a property is being held for the last 10 years, I'm talking about a immovable property, real estate, and so today if the property is being held and that was acquired about 10 years back, the benefit of indexation would be only about 1.5 times, because that's a ratio of the cost index. So if you do that mathematics, that calculation, if the property value of the property has risen by 3 times, right, in these last 10 years or more, then the new tax regime is beneficial. Now, practically, in the last 10 years, the property rates have gone much beyond 3 times, right? So therefore, if we see from actual practical point of view, the new tax regime is beneficial. Because in the first place, the cost of indexation was on a very conservative basis and was only taking care of the inflation, essentially. So therefore, this takes it. The other is that the benefit of rollover is still available. So if you have actually sold an asset and you are actually taking a new asset, then the benefit that was otherwise available is still available. So that way, that is fine. The only thing that has been done away with is the indexation.
And the rollover period is the same, 3 years?
Rollover period, everything remains the same. There is no change in as far as that rollover is concerned. So one, the tax outgo as such is reduced. And also the implication is that if the holding period has reduced, the asset which was otherwise a short-term asset and no rolling over was available. Now that also becomes available. You see, that's also an advantage of it.